Hi. Forgive my hair. I just took a shower, and in the low humidity now, it's not curling up very nicely, so it looks a little disheveled. But I wanted to comment on an important part of the equity work that goes on at the high school, and that involves how do we provide supports to students and then connect them to those supports, make them aware of it. And that is, in essence, what the board's second goal is. So the school clearly perceives that this is an important part of the equity process that we have to ensure that all students can both grow academically but also socially as well and emotionally. When I was on the school improvement team, we invested a lot of time and effort into mechanisms to get information to families and students because there is a whole lot of information available at the school, and it's kind of hard to find your way through it all. And in spite of our efforts, I came away with a feeling that unless you perceive you need some help right now, it's awful hard to hear the help that is being offered. I know that when I would receive something, either email or snail mail or something like that, and I didn't need it at the time, chances are it would end up in the circular file. Um, so the question arises then is, well, how do we better connect students and families to the supports that ETHS has so that they can most develop academically and socially and emotionally? And one mechanism that our neighbor to the north has used, they call the Nutrier Advisory, they've been using it since 1928, goes something like this. And I haven't researched it as thoroughly as I should, but I wanted to share it with you because I think it's probably an approach we need to look at. What they have is it's kind of like our old home base, where there is an advisor who is with a group of 20 or 25 students, and they are together as a group for the 4 years they're in high school. So they develop not only connections among the students, but connection between the advisor and the students, and ideally with the students' families as well. And in that model, they meet daily, and the advisor serves as I'm going to call it a communication central, where information about the school, what supports are available, the advisors are aware of, and they're also aware of how the students are performing and what they're interested in, and hopefully what their needs are, and so that the advisor then can connect the students to those supports. Um, that's kind of the general idea. The advisor can communicate with the families and make it clear to them as well. From a teacher's perspective, the advisor can also serve as communication central with the teachers. Whereas a teacher, I'll say, John didn't submit his homework today. I'll send a note off to the advisor. And if the advisor hears from several other teachers that John didn't submit his homework, then he says, okay, there's some problem. Let me talk to John and then maybe talk to his parents. And then whatever the outcome of that is, can work its way back to the teacher, and it's either something that can be handled relatively painlessly, or perhaps there's other issues to deal with. So in that sense, it makes communication between the teachers and the families a little bit easier as well, because teachers have 100, 125 students, and it's awfully difficult to maintain those kinds of small communications on a regular basis for the teachers. So we've tried to do things like this. Like I said, we had home base, and right now we have freshman advisory. But it's always been in a small way, and in home base, it worked out to be largely a time to relax and build relationships, but not so much to communicate. Freshman advisory, a lot of the communication is still executed by our counseling staff, and they do a great job of it, but they also have about 250 students that they're responsible for each. And so it's a lot more difficult for them to stay on top of exactly what's happening with each student. So if we can set up a system like this, where that advisor, whether it's a teacher, faculty member, or some other member of staff or a counseling member, whatever, if they have access to and knowledge of all the various supports and get to know the students, I think it would be much more effective at making those connections for the students. And um, Clearly, the board perceives that this is an important thing to do. It wouldn't be one of our four goals if not. And I recognize that it will offer some logistical challenges and that it's going to require some time in changing the schedule of the day, as well as probably more personnel and more cost. But perhaps this is worth it. And I think we need to explore it further. Thank you.